Hi, this is Lisa with Holland Designs Crochet. Today I am finishing a new design. This is the Queenstown Beanie. You can see this beautiful knit look texture here. It's just created with some basic crochet stitches, actually mostly just half double crochet and some chains and slip stitches. And it is basically like a reversible fabric. Looks pretty much the same on both front and back sides. So I've just finished the actual beanie and did a seam on the inside here. You can see my slip stitch seam, and I turned my hat right side out so that the seam is hidden on the inside. And I'm just basically creating a foundation round here of single crochet at the edge, working into the ends of rows of the beanie. So as I'm doing that, I just wanted to place my single crochet stitches in such a way that it's a nice flat edge and even, so that it's not too wavy or too tight, so that when I actually finish the beanie, the head circumference is a good fit. So once I finish doing this round here of single crochet, I'm going to then begin working my ribbing, and I'll just show you quickly how that's being done as well. I've just come to the end of my round, and I'll just join with a slip stitch to that first single crochet. So I've just basically finished my entire round of single crochet. You can see it looks pretty nice and flat and even. And now I'm going to begin doing a ribbed edging here for the brim of the hat. And so you can measure your hat just to see exactly how tall it is. And then also, so mine here is about 7 inches, just measuring it. And depending on how you want the hat to fit, if you want more of a slouch style, you can add a little bit more height to the hat, and you can adjust that by determining how wide you want the brim to be, or how wide you want this ribbing to be. I think I'm going to add just a little bit extra height. So rather than doing just a short ribbing, I'm going to do one that's just a little bit taller, just so maybe a couple inches. So you can see I've just made a longer chain. And then I just work into a second chain from hook and start working my half double slip stitches. I love to use the half double slip stitch for the ribbing on hats and other items. Just simply gives a really lovely knit look ribbing, and it's a tighter stitch than maybe working in half double crochet back loops only, or even I think prettier than maybe single crochet and back loops only. So I really like the look and the stretchiness of the half double slip stitch. So I just work across all those chains. When I get to my ribbed edging, or my edging here, the single crochet, I simply work a slip stitch into the next 2 stitches at the edge of the hat. That replaces what would typically be like a chain 1 turn. And then I just turn my work and I begin working back along the ribbing and work again half double slip stitch and back loops only across this entire row. So this is called a short row edging, and it's basically just joined as you go directly to the hat. So it's a very easy and convenient technique to know how to use. And you just make sure you keep your stitch count accurate, so just count how many stitches you have. At the end of that row, you do a chain 1 and turn your work again. You can see how that ribbing is beginning to show there. And then again, you just work in back loops only in half double slip stitch across the entire row again. You just keep repeating those 2 rows, working toward the brim of the hat, and then back again toward the, so back and forth in rows. And the one edge has the chain 1 turn here at the outside, and the other one simply has the 2 slip stitch joins. And you just continue that process until you've worked around the entire circumference of the hat, and until you've completed that ribbing around the entire hat. So I'll come back and just show you what it looks like when it's finished, and then I'm also going to demonstrate for you how we make the crown of the hat. All right, I've just finished the ribbing. So I'm going to cut my yarn, just leaving a little extra length for sewing. And I'm just going to then use a yarn needle and sew the short ends of the ribbing together with a whip stitch. So just sew those two ends together. So I will do that, and then I'll come back and show you what I intend to do for the crown. All right, I finished the ribbing, did my seam here with whip stitch, and I woven my ends. And then I turned the hat wrong side out, so you can see this visible seam again. And that's because I'm going to be doing a seam here at the top of the hat to close the top and create the crown. It's going to be a 4-cornered hat at the top, or 4-cornered seam. And so I'll show you how that's done. After I finish the crown, I'm going to put a little fur pom-pom at the top. So all you do is join your yarn again at the top of that side seam. So I'm just joining with a slip stitch. And this seam at the top you can do either with a slip stitch or a single crochet. So just whatever your personal preference is. Either one works just fine. And so how we begin creating this 4-cornered seam is we simply join to the opposite side of the hat. So you've got the front and the back joined there in the center with a slip stitch. And then to create the 4 corners, you just simply grab this far edge here, move it to the center, and also then join with a slip stitch there. So you can see how I've already created 2 corners. And then just do the exact same thing at the opposite edge, the opposite side, and you just, again, join with a slip stitch. And you see how I've created a 4-cornered crown. The final step then is to simply sew with a slip stitch or single crochet across each of these sections to close them. And these seams will then be on the inside of the hat, so you won't see the actual visible seams. And so you're just working through both thicknesses, and I'm working in slip stitch and just working across that section. In slip stitch and closing it. Once I get to the end of this seam here, I'm simply going to do a chain 1 and turn. And I want to move my hook back to the center again. So to move my hook, I'm simply working some surface slip stitches back along that seam, just to, again, get back to the center. It just prevents me from having to fasten off and reattach my yarn. Okay, so once I'm back at the center, basically, I then will continue with the next section and just do the exact same thing. So I'll continue this process with all 4 sections, and then when it's finished, I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, you can see I've finished all of my seams. The last one I didn't work back to the center, I just left it at the edge there and I just fastened off. So I've got just 2 ends to weave in later. So that's the 4-corner crown. And so how this looks then when you turn the hat right side out. So let me just do that and shape it a little bit. You can see the top of the hat looks like that. So it's quite a pretty puckered, gathered crown. And it's also then lovely when you add the pom-pom to the top. So I'll just be adding that on. And I love how this one turned out. It's such a pretty knit look texture, and very simple, and works up really quickly as well. I just made this in a few hours. And I love this color. This is actually the color Bone. This is the Color Theory yarn that I used. I think it's a medium worsted weight yarn from Lion Brand. And it's actually just like a natural pink, pale pink color, but one of my favorite colors. So you can see I used less than 1 skein of the yarn for the project. I think these skeins are 100 grams, so it's probably, I don't know, exactly half a skein maybe, or I'll have to weigh it and see how much I actually used and put that in the pattern notes, but it doesn't take very much yarn to make a hat. So I think the finished measurement for this beanie was about 9 inches. So you can make it, you know, a little bit longer if you want. You can make it, you can customize the fit very easily. So there's a size chart in the pattern giving you standard head circumferences and hat heights for a variety of sizes, basically child, teen, and ladies. And you can just easily customize it. So hopefully you'll enjoy this pattern and this new stitch texture as well. One last little tip that I wanted to share. I learned this just the other day. I happened to see this on another video on YouTube. So it's really a handy little trick. So basically I've sewn a button there at the center of the crown on the inside of the hat. And so basically we're going to use that then to attach the pom-pom. And if you feel the pom-pom like this one I've got here, has a little hook, a little stretchy elastic thing. And basically what you'll do then, as I saw demonstrated the other day, was you turn your hat right side out and then insert your crochet hook up through the inside of the hat to grab that elastic loop, and then pull it through and then wrap it around the button. So that's quite a good handy trick, and I guess it makes the pom-pom removable then. But it's easier than maybe trying to attach it in another way. So it's just quite a handy tip, so I thought I'd share that with you.